What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Lil Boy. You feel me? We live from the basement again. I'm just chilling. Today's been a pretty chill day. I want to say, today I'm gonna be watching this about the greatest bank heist in Chinese history. Man, since we watching about bank heist, you need a mask, right? So I figured, when in Rome. You know what I'm saying? Gotta get in there. Now, there we go. Hold on. We in here, right? Alright. Shout out Bag, by the way. You feel me? Y'all don't know about this. This is a Central District brand. You know what I'm saying? Central District, Seattle, Washington. Shout out the neighborhoods. You feel me? But check this out. This is the greatest bank heist in Chinese history. Let's see how they doing it over there, man.
I'm Kento Bento.
He's Kento
This
Bento.
video is made possible by Dashlane. Download Dashlane for free if you never want to forget another password again at the link in the description. Handan, China,
I'ma
October
remember the
10th,
password.
2006. It was getting dark.
I need it.
The vault manager of the Agricultural Bank of China was on edge. He was afraid. He felt something wasn't quite right. Yes, there were two security guards patrolling the grounds, which made him feel safer. But as vault manager, he needed to be sure himself. He checked the printer room, the conference room. There was no one there. No sign of trouble. Then he entered the vault, where everything was also fine. The money was
What type of bullshit cliffhanger was that? Where he entered the vault. Nigga, the money was still there. What you tripping for, nigga? You ain't even got robbed yet.
there. The bank's security system was down. In fact, everything was just as he planned. He started counting the money, but he knew he had to be quick. The paranoia was starting to get to him. He shoved the cash in his duffel bag and swiftly left the vault. For Ren Xiaofeng, it was good to be the man in charge. It made robbing the Agricultural Bank of China that much easier. But he still had to be careful. He wasn't out of the woods yet.
Hold on, the dude who's managing the bank is the robber. That's a fast twist. That's a fast twist.
He cautiously made his way to his car, but then suddenly, flashlights. It was the two security guards. They had spotted him. They glanced down at his duffel bag and asked if he got the money. You see, it was smart to enlist the help of the two security guards, as it made him feel safer. He dumped the bag of cash in the car and...
You know how many jobs I done worked at? You feel me? And ain't none of my managers or none of my supervisors been like, hey, little bruh, you seem to be with that business, bruh. If I go ahead and break this off, is you gonna hold it down? Come on, man. That's all we waiting for. We just waiting for opportunities out here, man. Come on, man. This is crazy. We just getting into it. This is crazy already.
made no attempt at a getaway. Not yet, because his shift wasn't over. As vault manager, he still had about an hour left on the clock. The next day, at home, he was relieved. He had the cash. In his possession was 200,000 yuan, which actually wasn't all that much. At the time, this was the equivalent of about 26,000 US dollars.
Let me tell you something. You hit a lick in the streets. 26 bands tax-free? Jug. It's a jug. What are they talking about? It's not a lot, but jug.
Now, however, this wasn't the end of his plan. Later that day, he made his way down the street to a lottery vendor where he purchased a large quantity of lottery tickets. He did the same across the city.
26 bands is fits, a whip, and a bad bitch. 26 bands, man.
Across Handan, with numerous vendors buying in bulk. For this was his plan. He was using the stolen money to buy lottery tickets in the hopes of winning a sufficiently large prize, large enough to be able to return the missing funds before anyone noticed they were missing. The idea was to still have money left over for himself. That
so you robbed
was
Peter
his
to
plan.
pay Paul.
And if you haven't already figured it out, that is a stupid plan. Why? Because the math simply doesn't add up.
But this is some shit a nigga who ain't ready to take that risk gonna try to do, try to make sure everybody's straight. Oh, I'm gonna put it back and I'm gonna, nigga, man, take it and run.
Lottery tickets are designed to cost more than the expected gain. The chances of winning back more than you put in, and on this sort of scale, is extremely low. If it were that simple, then everyone would be doing it. Despite the stereotype, this wasn't apparent to Ren. Now, you saw the title of this video. This is meant to be a great heist. And well, part of the reason that's the case is because despite the unfavorable odds, Ren won. The plan actually worked. He was able to return the 200,000 back to the vault and still pocket a large sum himself. It all went smoothly, swift and efficient, like a snap of a finger. Celebrations were abound, as the heist was a genuine success. And so with the banking staff none the wiser, Ren settled back and watched the sunrise.
So then how'd they get
caught? Now, some people would move on, but not him. 5 months later, in March 2007, emboldened by his initial success, he felt it was time for a round two. This time, though, his ambition was much greater. The Agricultural Bank of China, after all, was one of the big 4 banks in China, and their vaults were loaded. He wanted more. So much more, in fact, that he couldn't do it alone. He still had...
Let me pause this. You hear me tell you that. Make 10, spend 2, save 8. You feel me? You'll be alright. Do that 10 times. Do the math. You blew 20 out of 100. You blew 200 out of 1,000,000. You'll be fine.
The 2 security guards in his back pocket, but they were just lookouts. He needed someone in bank who could help move the money and to shield his activity from the rest of the staff, at least till they could return the funds. The missing 200,000 previously had gone unnoticed by the banking staff. But this time around, if, say, Ren were to wipe out 50% of all money in the vault, it would be obvious. Now, there was only one person Ren had his eye on, and that was Ma, the other vault manager.
Come on, man. Let me get a like. Let me get a subscribe. Leave some comments or something, man. Help the channel grow, man. You feel me? The more you help me, the more I can help you. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to it.
As he, of all people, was sure to notice the missing funds. And so he had to bring him on board. This was certainly a risk. But fortunately for Ren, Ma was game. It was time for the heist. The second heist. This one lasted much longer. During the months of March and April, Ren and Ma secretly carted out over 2 tons of cash, the equivalent of 33 million yuan, or at the time 4.3 million US dollars. Now, by this point, the inconsistencies were adding up, and despite bringing Ma in, some of the staff members were starting to notice. It wasn't long before police were notified. This was looking bad. But as vault managers, Ren and Ma were able to use their sway and come up with temporary excuses which everyone seemed to buy. They insisted this sort of misplacement error happens from time to time, and that it was no big deal. The money was sure to turn up sooner rather than later. Of course, this was their attempt at buying time, as they had yet to scratch out all their lottery tickets. And it was a lot of tickets. 33 million won worth of piles and piles that would put Mr. Beast to shame. Over the many weeks, the 2 bought and scratched out lottery tickets on an unprecedented scale. Now, this time, shockingly, the lottery did what lotteries are supposed to.
And took all the money.
And they lost it all.
Took all of it.
Unsurprisingly, police became increasingly suspicious as the inconsistencies persisted. It didn't fix itself as they were promised.
Selling physical products like this is not the best way to make money on Amazon in 2021. And I get it. All you hear about when it comes to making money on Amazon is selling physical products. So you just...
In desperation, Ren and Ma came up with an ingenious solution. Doubling down with heist number 3. It was sure to work this time. It had to. For the third heist, they stole a further 18 million won, 2.3 million US dollars, and went and bought even more tickets. Unlike before, they were now on a serious time crunch, and they didn't have the luxury of spreading out their activity over many weeks.
This point, just
they
take
purchased
it and go.
all their tickets in just one single day, and hurriedly scratched till their fingers bled. If you're wondering how the insane amount of ticket purchases were made without raising suspicion, well, that's because at the time, while China was transitioning to electronic, cash was still king. Now, at the end of the grueling day, this was their reality. Out of a total of 51 million won, 6.7 million US dollars, they were only able to recoup a total of 98,000 won, $12,700. Yup, they were screwed. and they finally knew it. On the plus side, though, the city of Handan reported record-breaking lottery ticket sales. Must have been some good marketing. On April 16th, the bank finally caught on to the legitimacy of the missing funds. As the vault managers could stall no more, the police immediately set out to arrest the duo for what was soon confirmed to be the largest bank heist in Chinese history. But they had already fled the city. They were, however, able to arrest a different duo, the supporting cast of the two security guards, who were none too pleased with the lack of forewarning given by their associates. Ren and Ma were all about...
Why they booked them? What they do? What? They held it down. I didn't even hear him mention security after the first move. So, what they do? I mean, they probably was involved in the second and third one, but why them? Why them? Let me see.
Saving themselves, having days earlier bought fake IDs before disappearing. This prompted an extensive nationwide manhunt, with China's public security ministry placing the two men on their most wanted.
So, after blowing the money 3 times, they finally decided to get fake IDs and passports and leave the country. When they walked out with the 4.3 million, I would have had a fake ID, a passport, and I would have been in a different country.
List. A bounty was placed on their heads. Ma fled north to the capital Beijing, while Ren made his way down to the Jiangsu province. Their faces were now plastered all over the news, which for Ma, being in a bustling city like Beijing, wasn't so great. Unsurprisingly, 2 days later, he was caught and arrested. Then there was one, the mastermind, Ren, who by now had made his way southwest by taxi to the coastal city of Lianyungang. As China's most wanted, traveling 650 kilometers all by taxi was probably not the smartest decision, which he eventually caught on to, as he later swapped out the cab for a black Honda, which he made sure to have a sunroof, because priorities. After purchasing the car from a dodgy car salesman, he realized he needed to quickly find a place to lay low. Using his fake ID, he rented a high-end apartment near the waterfront from his new landlord, which, along with his sunroof car, was seriously eating away at his reserves. It seemed, along with math, long-term planning wasn't his thing.
So
but at least for now,
it
was time
to
kick
go
back,
on a run with a
till
little bit
things
of money. Like,
died
come on, bro, you didn't think none of this through.
Except it was already over, because the police knew exactly where he was. It turned out that looking disheveled and unshaven for days and paying for everything from a bag full of cash was suspicious behavior. News to him. It wasn't one person who notified police. It was 3. The taxi driver, the landlord, and the dodgy car salesman. Indeed, it seemed the dodgy car salesman had come across someone far dodgier than himself. Since all 3 assisted with the capture, they ended up splitting the 200,000 won reward, which for Ren, I guess was a fitting end, as just as it all started with 200,000, it has now ended with 200,000. With everyone captured, the manhunt was over. The 2 security guards were charged with misappropriating public funds and were sentenced to up to 5 years in prison. Ren and Ma were charged with embezzlement, and in court, the prosecution pushed for the harshest sentence under the law. Ren in particular repented and tried to offer up advice on how the bank could prevent such theft from happening in the future. But unfortunately, it was all too late. They were given the death penalty, and a year later, they were executed. As for the Agricultural Bank of China, they were embarrassed. They took action by firing 5 bank officials for negligence, including the vice president of the province branch, for essentially allowing 3 heists to take place under their watch. It was later revealed the bank hadn't even taken a cash inventory for years, and no one had ever checked the surveillance. So here's the moral of the story. Don't make the same mistake as the Agricultural Bank of China. Secure your system and protect your financial information online with, of course, Dashlane. Because Dashlane makes keeping track of all your passwords ridiculously easy. It stores all your passwords in one super secure place.
That's a whole goddamn commercial. He's slick how he tied that in there, though. I ain't gonna lie, they slick. But so you're telling me, let's do the math. Buddy had $7 million total that he ran through. He spent all of it on scratch tickets, returned 13,000. Went on the run with some money. He took some money for himself, of course. Got caught. Got sentenced to death. You had $7 million, bro. If you was gonna die, you should have died with the $7 million. You should have died with the $4 million. You walked out with the second time and went on the run with that $4 million. That would have seen more death. And then the people that told on you, the niggas that told on you only got 200,000, and that shit probably only a couple bands in, U.S. dollars. But hey, I mean, there's always somebody's gonna tell on you for a little 10 bands, little 5 bands. People be struggling, man. I ain't gonna lie. But Buddy's an idiot. He didn't have no plans. He had no logistics. He just threw it all on a whim. If you're gonna risk your life for something, make sure you risk your life for something good. That right there is crazy. I thought I was gonna have a happy day. They was gonna ride off in the sunset. I didn't even know they got hit with the death penalty and fucking blew all the money. This is a goddamn tragedy. Like, yeah, they hit a lick. They got away with it. They can't even tell the story. They fucking died. So, what was it all for? I don't know. Give me a like. Give me a comment. Let me know what you think. Would you risk it for 7 million total, 4 million at once, a couple 100,000 other times? What would you do? Would you have ran? Would you have stayed? Would you have spent it on scratch tickets? Let me know. Shit. I'll holla at y'all, man. All right.